say the flame to shout, make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise, fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To The Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.
Hey guys, welcome to The Point podcast with Mike, Leo, and Vince. Vince is on vacation again. And Leo, what episode was this?
133.
Man, that's freaking crazy, isn't
It's
it?
crazy how
That's just of this podcast.
that's correct. Yes.
We didn't stop counting when we went to the network and came back.
No.
We just kept counting
We
episodes
just
all the
kept
time.
going.
I think we did a few
Moving
other
forward.
things too, to the point, but didn't count those. But 133 episodes.
I know, right? Like something that started out of just of a regular conversation in the middle of like nowhere. And here we are now. Weeks, months, years into this now.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's
I'd have to
crazy.
look and see
Hours. Could you imagine
the
how many
date-
hours we put into this shit? Or at least you put into this
when. You
shit.
don't even want to know.
I know, shit.
Just everything in general
Yeah,
for
for sure.
Indian River connections. It takes a lot of time, but we
Live
don't do
life.
this for money. That's
Oh,
for sure.
It's just entertainment. We entertain ourselves. You know what, Mike? To be honest with you, I like this shit. I like the fucking beef with the left and the right. You know, it's like like, oh, what's gonna come out next? Who's gonna say what? Who's gonna do what? Who's gonna say this? Who's gonna say that? Like, I'm glad we live where we live, because in other countries, man, they wouldn't be letting us say what we wanted to say. They'd just say, this is what you're gonna say, and that's it.
Well, in other
know.
countries, the political violence is
You
a
know.
lot more extreme.
They'll cut you.
But now you look what's going on.
Yeah, I guess so too. I
With
guess it's
Charlie
coming
Kirk,
here.
and it's in the violence the left perpetrates and or
Right.
perpetuates. It's horrible, and you don't want to see that. Still the nation and the world, I think, is mourning the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Right.
I think it's been 7 days. Yeah, it's September 17th. So on the 10th is when
Right.
Charlie Kirk was assassinated by Tyler Robinson. Hate to say his name right. I got his name right.
I believe so.
Some 22-year-old punk that the only girl they can get to like him was actually a dude. So,
Right.
the left wanted so bad to say again that it was a MAGA person.
Right.
And hey, Joanne, we see you in the comments.
Hey,
And they just, of course they were wrong. Just because he came from a MAGA family doesn't make him a MAGA person. And
Right.
you send your kids off to university or to, live in some city or something like that, and who knows what they're coming back with, man.
Yeah, I mean,
Kids are
that's,
very impressionable.
that's part of life, and that's part of living here where we live at. We're allowed to do whatever we want to do and believe whatever we want to believe. Just sadly, some people can't just get triggered by people speaking the truth or whatever, or speaking what they have to say. Some people just get triggered very easily. I don't comment, I don't say anything, because my point of view, it's just dark and just plain and simple. I've had so many deaths in my family that it's just like, okay, like, I don't know.
Well, it's a big deal
Yeah.
because he touched a lot of lives, and for a lot of people, they grieve in a different way.
Right.
And he had a lot of friends, and even in the creator sphere, and that generation of people we see in our type of media. He touched a lot of lives and made a lot of friends, made a lot of enemies, but he really never talked about hate, never pushed violence on anybody. He was just straightforward, like you're saying, just straightforward, and
Right.
like it's very cut and dry when it comes to biblical and the Constitution, and that's what pissed people off. He wasn't about the gay marriage. He wasn't about this, and he felt very strongly about our kids getting indoctrinated in universities, and that's why Turning Point was their mission was to get onto every university where conservative kids have somewhere they can go without being bullied or beat up or harassed like that.
Right.
Yeah, I thought all the dogs were inside. Yeah, so I mean, I've got videos on that. A very powerful week because he did a podcast. He was on another show, and it's like all of us, like we're here right now. There's no Vince,
Right.
but what if Vince was never coming back?
Yeah, no, I agree.
And it's an empty seat at the table.
Right.
And I don't know what that dog is barking at, but
yeah, I don't know.
he needs to go inside, unless that's
No.
the SWAT team right there.
I know. No, it's crazy, like nobody should be, like this guy, like Charlie, like it was planned, like this guy literally like planned this stuff. Like that's
And
just
it's
crazy. That's just mentally ill, man. Like
Man, when
nobody should be do that or should do that or should
Yeah.
have.
So it turns out,
It's just bad, man. It just gives you like the goosebumps that you can't like this guy. Okay, it could be me, it could be you. Just because we're up here saying what we want to say and say, oh, we don't like what Leo's saying today. Let's plan out that every Wednesday night he's gonna go to the studio, and then somebody's gonna just show up. Like you can't do that, man. That's just not right. That's just rotten. That's just.
yeah, well,
that's
it's a father and an innocent person, was
It is. It's just
assassinated. Like Joanne said, I think Joanne thought you were going somewhere else with us, but
No.
it having such a large presence in media and going on to these campuses to try to open the dialogue, to try to, and he would let people who disagree with him come to the front of the line because he wanted to be able to try to change minds,
Right.
not inflict on them. But he would always debate them, and that's maybe he was one of those guys in school. You're like, oh man, I don't want to deal with this guy,
Right.
because he knew his shit. He
Right.
always brought it back to the Bible, and everything he said made sense. And I love the videos where there's people that have the like, because he's in the media, like everything he did was on the internet. So when they start claiming he's a racist, and they've got proof, like there's videos of him, just talking with people, and he thought everybody was good and made in God's image. So
Right.
they try to paint the narrative. Well, speaking of that, I've got a good video. I found this one on X. Let's throw this up here.
It's like
I can see
like I'm gonna put it this way or another way. Like I don't like Trump. Just,
yeah, you do. You say you don't.
No,
but you
I
do.
don't like his
Yeah.
like his personality. I just don't
but
like.
Nobody
I just
cares
don't-
if you like him or not.
I don't
He
like.
gets the job done.
I like the message. But that doesn't mean that just because I don't like the man, I'm gonna go do whatever I need to go do. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just don't follow it. Just don't do it. Like
Yeah, well, that's easy for you to say, but people swallow that pill, Leo.
no, I know that's what I'm
and they,
saying.
and
Like,
they
it's
take
just-
it, and they listen to what CNN, MSNBC, ABC tells them, Fox News tells them,
Right.
and it's gold to them.
Right.
And throughout this whole travesty in the last 7 days, so much information was flung out there, wrong and right. A lot of it was released by the FBI. They had two different suspects in the hands at two different times, and they're tweeting this out right away.
Like I don't even
nothing
know.
made frickin'
Right.
sense about this
No.
whole situation.
Like I don't even know to believe like of the FBI. Like
Right.
how do you believe?
Well,
these
we
people?
already know it's
Like-
corrupted.
Like how do you believe all these people that are up there? Like I just can't trust no one. I can't just trust anybody. Like it's just
Well, that's thanks the Trump administration
I
for
don't
letting
know.
you see that now,
You know.
because it's so
The-
infiltrated and rooted in corruption.
the other
It's
day.
not going to fix itself.
The other day I was having a conversation, a little debate with somebody. They were like, "Oh, but why do they have to fly the flag halfway and this and that?" And I was like, "Okay, well, let me ask you this: Obama gave Helen DeGeneres like a honor medal of whatever, a hero for the community or something like that, and it's like, what kind of heroism is she? Like, well, why is she getting this award?
Yeah, she didn't bring anybody
Like, she
closer to
didn't-
God or anything like that.
Right. So it's
Or-
like, okay, if you feel like this person shouldn't get this, then why do you think this person should be able to get that? Like, it's just
Biden did it too.
everybody.
They did
does
it. They
Everyone does
lowered the
it.
flags for
For
freaking
every-
George Floyd, the meth head,
They'll do it for
and other
anybody, man.
people
Like, it's
too.
just-
So, you know, it ends up being a left versus right,
yes,
a white versus black. It always ends up being a division
For sure.
somewhere, and they'll stack them if they can.
yeah. It's just
But here's a
sad.
good video. If you think about it, everybody knows the Joker, right? I forgot who told me
Yeah.
about this video, but here, let's look at this.
Or speak out against lies and hate. Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic.
Are they a threat to democracy? Yes. Are they going to take our rights away? Yes. Are they going to put people's lives in danger? Yes. Are they going to endanger the planet by not dealing with climate change? Yes.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
She's a genuine danger to American security.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
We have to preserve our democracy. Or speak out against lies and hate.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Have a consistent narrative about how dangerous Trump is.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy.
Donald Trump is an existential threat to our democracy and our most fundamental freedoms.
Kamala needs to stop saying that President Trump is a threat to democracy. It's now being received by some unhinged people as a call to action. Enough is enough.
Yeah, that's whoever made the video. But that's exactly what I was saying. The media just pumps all this stuff out. So you have to look at the media. Who controls the media? Who says yay and nay? Not just that. Candace Owens was pretty outspoken about the pressure Charlie Kirk was in when it came to donors and them trying to platform certain people or deplatform certain people on Turning Point USA. And we have another interesting video before I get into some of the other stuff. Let's play this one too. I'm all over the place.
Christian, but like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan. I'm an American citizen. Yes, I want Israel to win. Yes, I'm a Christian. But like some of the mess, and you've seen how I've been treated, Megan, by some, not all, by some.
No, it's very irritating.
It's
been
almost
so
as if
unfair. They were coming after you after Turning Point for, among other things, that you had Dave Smith there. Dave Smith isn't allowed to criticize Israel. You had both sides. The Israeli side was overrepresented.
No, you're not allowed to. It's even worse than that. Again, I just want to repeat for the fifth time. I love Israel. I want Israel to win. But my moral character is now being put into question, Megan. Not my decisions. Not like, hey, are you doing this? Is it smart or is it dumb? But no, I am a bad person if I do this. And I could go, I mean, you saw it, Megan. It was trending on Twitter, thousands of tweets and text messages. And if I were to be charitable and generous, I will say the people that are attacking me are in a hyper paranoid state because they're at war, and war tends to make things black and white, and you're a hammer looking for a nail. So I'm trying to be charitable, Megan. Literally, I'm trying to cut as much slack as I can, right? Like, okay, what would it be like if all of a sudden I'm starting to see a pattern of behavior similar to what my grandparents saw in 1930s Germany online? How would I behave? So that's like my charitable kind of overcompensation spirit. At the same time, I'm like, but it's not defensible to be dumb.
So
right?
They're talking about speaking out against Israel. And Candace Owens, her show the other day, she didn't hold back at all. And they keep referring to when he had Tucker Carlson on the stage for one of the Turning Point get-togethers. And, you know, at this point, Tucker is blowing the door off everything. You know, he's exposing everything you think is a conspiracy and he knows is the truth. He's blowing it off. And he described that, Charlie told him just go all the way, and he's like, are you sure? He's like, I know he's got a lot of his donors. The Jewish donors are everywhere.
Right.
Same with the other ones. But, I don't know tit for tat, but supposedly they're embedded in everything.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech.
No, this is today, they're yesterday. So to add some context to this, Pam Bondi came out in the last couple of days because of all the hate speech. People are getting fired, which I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you see the chick that makes you coffee on Facebook celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. I'm okay with you calling her boss saying, you realize she's posting this? I'm not going to get my coffee from her. And if she gets fired, she gets fired. That's a free marketplace. That's capitalism. That's the right to work. But it's different if you think you can charge them with a crime for any speech. Pam Bondi's trying to draw a distinction between hate speech and free speech, and they're talking about going after people for hate speech. But I mean, what do you think, Leo? Do you think you should be locked up for the stuff you say if it's considered hateful? And that who is going to be the deciding factor of what's hateful?
So my thing is I'm just not going to give them the attention that they're looking for. I'm not even going to call. I'm not even going to ask them because it's not to my liking there again, like if that's what the business wants, then, hey, let the business find out from somewhere else. I'm going to mind my own business. I don't care. I'm just not going to stop there anymore. I'm just going to stop two streets down. Let them say whatever they want to say.
But do you think you think the government should charge you with a crime for hate speech? If you're being hateful towards individual, political, or racial,
I don't think they'll ever work out because it all really depends on what the person likes or dislikes. Because you might like something, and you might not like just now how you said if you went and got your cup of coffee and the person said, you would be like, oh, did you see what this person was saying? But that's what you don't like their message, so then that's why you called them. You know what I'm saying? But if it was something that you liked, you would have been okay with it.
Well, yeah, that's how it works, though. I mean, you have the right to do business wherever you want.
Yeah, you have the right. Yeah, right. That's why we live here because
it's your prerogative if you want to let the business owner know or not. But how do you feel about your kids' teachers talking about these kinds of issues in classrooms?
Well, they shouldn't be talked in the classrooms because when you go to school, you should be able to be taught to read, write, math. Why should you be talking about this?
Right. Well, I mean, it's history in the making, but when teachers
history in the making, but that they should be talked about it maybe 20, 30 years.
Well, I mean, current events, I don't think they should have to stay away from current events, but they should stay away from their political opinions.
For sure. Yeah. I think they should stay away from the left and the right and just be like, this is what's happening.
This is what happened today.
And you know what, Mike? You know what? I'm going to think, now that you think about it, I'm going to look at my yearbook because I remember that in my yearbook, all the way in the back, it said everything about all the current events that were happening in that year.
And that's okay.
And that's perfectly fine.
It's not political.
No,
it's just the current, like the milestones that have happened. This Charlie Kirk getting shot,
and it would have been on the back of the
college
page,
campus.
For sure.
I mean, that I think deserves talked about. But when you have teachers or people like that celebrate the death of him, I believe they deserve to lose their jobs
because that's two different things now. Right. Now you're putting out you're going to work. Putting out your opinion at a place that it's not your own place. So
what's the difference if you're doing it at work or on Instagram?
What do you mean? What's the difference?
So what if the teacher was doing the celebration on Instagram? Is that still somebody you want teaching your kids?
No, meaning like depending on like what kind of work you're into.
Well, let's take a teacher. I mean, because it's happening.
A teacher, you shouldn't, because you shouldn't be able to be putting out there and then But then there you go. It sucks because some of the times you'll be able to see these teachers' profiles, and it's like then they can't have a life either. But then again, you shouldn't be, I mean, it's just a hard position that they put them in, But then there again, you shouldn't be talking about it. You should be there to school to learn how to read, write, learn how to drive, learn how to sew, how to cook, how to do stuff like that.
You don't need to be learning that stuff at school. You need to be learning the academics.
Okay, but some of these parents just drop off their kids at school and let the teachers take care of whatever.
Let the school raise their kids.
And then those are the parents that are then hooling and hollering.
Victims.
Right. It's like, well,
let's play this video.
You were never there.
I've had this up. Let's play it. I forgot. Looking at
it's the chief law enforcement officer of the United States.
This is Tucker talking about Pam Bondi.
There's free speech. And then there's hate speech. This is the Attorney General of the United States, the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States, telling you that there is this other category called hate speech. And of course, the implication is that's a crime. There's almost no sentence that Charlie Kirk, and I'm not running the risk of appropriating his memory for my own ends by saying this, it's provable. There's no sentence that Charlie Kirk would have objected to more than that. And you've got to think the Attorney General didn't think it through and was not attempting to desecrate the memory of the person she was purporting to celebrate, that she just threw that out there, that she hadn't thought about it. You hope that. Yeah. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever. And there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think, there is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his views. And by the way, that thinking, and not to pile on the Attorney General, who's a very nice person, but that thinking that she just articulated on camera there is exactly what got us to a place where some huge and horrifying percentage of young people think it's okay to shoot people you disagree with, to kill Nazis for saying things they don't like. Why do they believe that? How did we get here? Is it the video games? Is it the SSRIs? Yeah, probably. But what it really is,
and they hear all them
12 and then 16 years of indoctrination in our.
Yeah, they sit there behind the screen, play video games, and then they shoot somebody, and then they could just restart the game, and the person comes right back. Guess what? It don't work that way, man.
That and their political leaders are telling you to give them hell.
And then there again, if they don't like it, whenever somebody tells them, "Hey, why is your hair blue?" and they're like, "Oh, you kind of look weird because your hair is blue," and then they feel some type of way. They feel that they could just go,
yeah.
And
see,
this get rid of you because your hair is blue.
This worries me because I feel like shaming should be normalized again. Like that's what kept society freaking normal. Like not shaming people for just disabilities or being different, but for being a freak, maybe.
Schools at the hands of people.
Up, we had Gothics.
Yeah, but they weren't trying to be something different than human.
Who tell them that?
Like furries.
Who say exactly what the Attorney General just said. Well, there's free speech, which of course we all acknowledge is important, so important. But then there's this thing called hate speech. Hate speech, of course, is any speech that the people in power hate, but they don't define it that way. They define it as speech that hurts people, speech that is tantamount to violence. And we punish violence, don't we? Of course we do. They've been taught that every year of their lives. And so naturally, most of them believe it. So when Charlie Kirk is shot in the throat with a 30-06 on camera, I doubt very many young Americans want to see something like that or actually applaud the death of a man, a father, a husband. But they've been told for their entire lives in schools exactly what Pam Bondi just told them. Well, there's free speech, but then there's also hate speech, and woe to those who engage in it because it's a crime.
Go ahead, Leo. Lost it. Here, testing out the new feature that's gone. He literally just said, I got something to say to that. And then it's gone. Hate speech, you know.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
That I'll tell you how I know this guy spoke the truth and nothing but the truth was because, and it's nice that you get to hear both sides, you know, because people see this man one way. The left sees it one way, and the right sees it another way, you know, because I've been watching. I like watching videos, man. Like I don't like watching the news. I don't like watching Fox. I don't like I just don't like watching the news. I just don't like watching the news. I'll watch YouTube videos. I go on, listen to people on podcasts here and there, and then I just pull my own story, you know. I'll even listen to the left and I'll listen to the right just to see what they're saying. And it's funny because it's like each person or each category or each side will tell you different things. Like they'll find videos of different things, and then it's like all of a sudden it's cut, and it's like you can see it. The people cut it. You can see that they're edited. You know, like it's like. In a way, it's nice because people see this guy, like everybody's so into it, and it's sad too because it's like, look at all the fame he has now, and it's sad that people like this always get all this fame after they're dead, they die, you know. And
well, the thing with Charlie was he was
just
pretty darn famous before. It's just we got to see.
But
it
see, a lot of
happen
people didn't know about him, though, Mike. A lot of people on the left didn't know about him.
You're right. You're right. Well,
You
they
know?
didn't know much about him. They've heard bad things about him because
Mike
they've seen 30-second clips and think he's a racist.
Right.
Meanwhile, if they would have saw a 35-second clip, they'd realized he ain't no racist, man. The kid didn't give two shits about color.
That's what I'm saying. Like I like hearing and watching these videos because, like you said, you know, it's 15 seconds. They'll
They give you what they want to
small,
paint
man.
the picture they want you to see.
Right. But what happened at the beginning before they got to that conversation, and what happened after that conversation? You didn't tell me anything in between of what happened. So that's where I like to go and be like, okay, well, this is what you were talking about here. Let's go and go see what you were talking before that, you know, and just, I don't know. I'm glad we live where we live because we could talk about what we got to talk about. We just got to be careful, I guess.
Yeah. So they fucking shoot you.
Like,
God forbid you draw a crowd. A lot of people listen to you, and you know, something didn't seem right. The whole thing kind of threw me off.
and then you know how he was talking about people from overseas. Well, there was a fight this past weekend, right? A good fight on Saturday. Canelo and some other guy. But there again, I've been hearing and watching videos left and right, here and there, that Canelo supposedly got paid from an Abu Dhabi from overseas, an Arab guy or somewhere from overseas, to actually lose the fight so that he could get a rematch next year and bring it back to his country where he's already being paid off and he's already going to win. I'll look it up for you.
It was Israel.
Israel, I believe it was
right,
Israel.
because remember they were playing
yes
with
right
with the outcome to
with
fix the match. Yeah.
So, and people knew that as soon as that, whoever it was, I can't remember what his name was, people were saying online on Twitter and TikTok that once they saw this guy come inside the arena, they were like, oh, it's over. He lost. Boom. Game over. And sure enough, he lost the fight. One of the best fighters that's out there loses the fight. Like, come on, man. You know it was rigged because you know he's okay. He lost money here, but you know he made money because he's getting paid off by this other dude. Just like how you said, here you go again. This guy, the Israelis or whatever, wanted Charlie to say what they're
very
say,
yes. Well, I mean, there's a big deal about Israel.
They're all here.
And, you know, because it's biblical, people think, and they have to back the state of Israel, and they pretty much control a lot of shit. And I'm not saying they're evil, but, you know, over decades and centuries, they've been accused of doing bad shit to economies and societies. You know, when it comes to religion, I feel you practice what you want.
Yeah.
I do have strong opinions when it comes to most religions. I don't really believe in organized church and stuff like that, but people need to organize. So it does provide a value to society, like the moral fabric that we go live by was given to us by religion. So I think it's very important, and I think kids should know about religions and stuff like that, but they should also know the truth about religions, especially when it comes to false prophets and just evil doing and stuff like that, because you've got these cults that pop up all over the place, and one of them's been around for freaking 1,000 years, and it's ridiculous. So, you know, you got these fake prophets out there, and people will follow just about anything. But yeah, and this whole thing, none of it made sense, and we could have dissected every bit of evidence they've given us, but it's like it's overwhelming.
I don't know.
You don't know what to believe.
Overwhelming,
because they gave us so much. When have you ever known to get that much evidence, that much information so quick about a public shooting like that?
Right. Oh, and then you know what? Another thing that I read too is the first guy that arrested, that old man they arrested,
the decoy.
I don't know.
Yes,
old man,
this is George Zinn, I think his name is. He's 77.
The old man. Well, guess what?
And he's known for being at these rallies to cause a disturbance.
Oh, is he? Well,
yes.
Guess what? He got arrested for, and now they figured out more. They dug in more for child pornography.
Yes, I think that was a reason to hold him. They're going to tie him to this somehow. I feel like he was a decoy, even if they weren't connected.
Right.
He did that on purpose to let that guy get away.
Yeah.
He did that to let the real shooter get away. And now was
the real shooter
was Robinson the real shooter?
I don't know. I don't
fucking know.
I saw somewhere something too that it said that shot could have been kind of that it was somebody in the crowd now all of a sudden now, but
yeah, well, I don't know about the crowd. I don't know about the crowd, but you know, it's just none of it makes sense. Everything from the guy jumping off the roof, stashing the gun, putting the gun together, taking it apart, coming back around, and it was just like,
but you know what, Mike?
Nothing really freaking. Nobody knew any different. And then there was a plane that took off like literally 12 minutes after this happened from the local airport. That's only like 12 minutes away, and on foot. And soon after it took off, it killed its communications and stuff like that was gone for like 40 minutes and come back.
Hear about
just
that.
None of this shit makes any sense, you know. And this is what I said, and I've been saying this for a year or two now. When you don't give us the truth, you don't give us the answers, we're left to assume pretty much whatever you want, like the worst of the worst. You might as well freaking assume it. So at this point, what do you know about the CIA? They had everything to do with John F. Kennedy. They had everything to do with Martin Luther King. They had everything to do with probably the other Kennedy. You know,
so that's what I was thinking about.
So much corruption in this government.
Right.
Not only that, Leo, all of the MK Ultra programs, Project Bluebeam, all these psychedelic type programs the CIA has been responsible for. You think Mossad isn't capable of that stuff? You think they just stopped this stuff back in the 70s? No, they didn't. Now that everybody knows about it, they just do it undercover.
Right. Like the Kennedy assassination too. Like
the Joanne.
You know, like we're always gonna be like, there's always gonna be that conspiracy, man. I'm sorry. Like, it's just give us the truth. Tell us who exactly did it. Don't.
There's
like,
free speech.
No. Don't go. Well, we found this, but and it's like how we were talking during the week, Mike, how we were saying that supposedly this guy jumped off of a one-story building still with the rifle on the side of him. Okay, where's the rifle in the video? That's 2025. I know you got...
I didn't see it either.
I know you got 5K cameras that could capture from zoomed in, and you're going to tell me I don't see no...
Right. Joanne, I don't know if this is the conversation you're talking about, if this was Discord or just a text between him and his boyfriend, but this all these screenshots they released today is almost sealed the deal for me that they're bullshitting us.
This is bullshit.
I'm done with it. Like, I'm not buying it. At first I was like, I can't swallow that black pill. And I know our partner John has been on it from the get-go. And I'm not saying Robinson didn't do it, but I'm saying they're bullshitting us because everything that they told us, now they're like spelling it out perfectly in this freaking screenshots of these pictures they've got. And I'm not buying it. I think we were oversold. I think we were oversold on Bondi and Patel. I'm really disappointed. And it's not just this, but this whole thing right here. I mean, you can read these for yourself if you want. I'm not going to go.
No, see, Mike, I didn't read that. I didn't see that until just now, right?
So this is just one. There's 4 screenshots I have here, and literally says, "Oh my God, we're gonna have to do this." Hold on. Let's read this out real quick. The roommate says, "What? You're joking, right?" And he says, "I am still okay, my love, but I am stuck. I'm stuck in Orem, which is a town right there, I guess, for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I'm sorry to involve you," the roommate says, which is his boyfriend. "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson says, "I am. I'm sorry." Like, perfect confession right there. "I thought they caught the person," the roommate said. Then Robinson responds with, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from the drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." I'm laughing because I feel like this is just like spoon-fed to us.
It's made up.
Here, let's keep going. The roommate says, "Why?" And he says, "Why did I do it?" He said, "Yeah, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again." Listen to the language. "Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." And then the roommate says, "Well, how long have you been planning this?" And Robin says, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can't get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." And Robinson says, "I wish I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle." His vehicle, not his Charger, not his car. Robinson goes on to say, "I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle." Tells you where he got the rifle, right? Spoon-fed you again, some applesauce. "I don't know if it had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about prints. I had to leave it in the bush where I changed outfits." Explain changing the outfits. "Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find prints. How the fuck will I explain losing it to my old man?" Never mind explaining losing the rifle. He's going to know, especially when they post pictures of it put together, by the way. "Only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The F messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge UWU on Fox News, I might have a stroke." I don't really know what this shit means, but all right, I'm going to have to leave it. That really fucking sucks. Hold on, there's one more too. I'm getting old. Let's zoom in. "Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I think that was a $2,000 scope." Now this, they haven't released that they had.
Now they're telling you about how much the scope cost.
Right.
So they could go Google.
That's how he was able to make the shot, because it was a badass scope, right? $2,000 scope. Then he tells his boyfriend, "Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle and it's very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering." And then he said, "Since Trump got in office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff." You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you, the roommate says. And then he goes on to say, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask you questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. Of course, that didn't happen. This is his messages to his boyfriend, who is trying to transition to a female, which never be a female.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah, I mean, it fits the narrative. And now they've blown it out that locally there's this group called Armed Queers SLC, Salt Lake City, and they supposedly have chapters or something like that. And they train these people how to fight back, and it's they're going after them as a terrorist organization, I believe. And it's they're brainwashing. This hits home too, because I think for everybody's family can probably relate to this. But when it comes to all these SSRIs and these psychotropics and drugs that they give these kids from such a young age and continue it on to adulthood, it's always involved somehow, right, or should have been. But the problem is when they take them off these drugs is usually when these people just they go off the deep end. Unfortunately, almost every one of them we've seen, our friend Sheila Matthews from Shattering the Narrative, Enabled Child, would be able to tell you this. And they're changing these kids. They're changing the kids while they're developing with drugs. They're manipulating these kids' makeups, like what develops these children into characters. They're changing all that with these drugs, and they're putting little kids on these freaking drugs and labeling them ADHD or schizophrenic, and it's freaking crazy. They're not allowed to be kids.
That's what I'm saying.
So it all feels like it was fed to us, and those screenshots don't do it justice. If you watch Candace, because I grabbed this before Candace's show today came out, but today she went through, and I wanted the screenshots from her. I didn't really care what she had to say, but they had timestamps, and some of them don't make sense. That some of the timestamps in the transcript are actually have information that wasn't released yet in the media. Right. So it's like, well, wait a minute, come on.
To me, the first information that came out was within less than 24 hours. I think that's the spot on, right, dead on, right information. But then what they do is then they twist it and give you all this misinformation so that you totally forget about what they said at the beginning. Right. That's just how I took it, because everything that I've been seeing is always now it's just a tree with tons of branches, this and this and this and this. What happened in the first 12 hours as soon as he got shot? What happened? What was released in those 12 hours is where exactly what happened. Right.
You know what we forgot to do?
Because to me also too, there's always just one camera, one angle, one location.
Yeah,
that's it. They'll never show you any other angle, there's always
and
just
that's just it. The footage they gave us was so shitty. College has got cameras all over the freaking place. Come on, man.
Come on.
But I want to get
if we can figure out where coronavirus came from.
Right.
Not gonna tell me where this badass camera is at? Come on, man. My camera that I'm being
videotaped
right now has better video than a university, and I don't even make not even a penny.
Give us all the footage, and I want that transcripts from pre-mic conversations too. Let's play this video from Warrior Shield. I've got one more video about the whole Charlie Kirk thing for tonight, and then I want to move on to one other story before we go. But let's give some recognition to Warrior Shield Foundation, which I'm super freaking proud of. I went to my first time going to their Warrior Weekend. I got to meet Dale and Jim from Two Guys in One Coop. They're like brothers that I've never met before. And then people like Rich Gunther, who's running for city council up in their area, but he's the Grit Gear Lock and Load Coffee guy. He's also treasurer of Warrior Shield. Chance Shawwell, I get their names wrong, but artists like Bo Bice and Colonel Gadsden from the movies and can't think of the name, Battleship, stuff like that. It was great people, man. It was like family in there, and I never met any of these people before, and the concert was amazing. But I'm looking forward to next year. Hopefully it's in the same place, but I believe it's September 11th next year, so it's gonna be something else. And they'll be raising money for the Border Patrol Foundation, which goes to support people affected from like on the Border Patrol.
Like, and you want me to show up next year?
Yeah, you're going.
And they're going to be the sponsoring for the
this foundation
for Border Patrol.
This foundation helps families affected by death on duty and stuff like that.
Border Patrol. Really, Mike?
Yeah.
Really, Mike?
Yes.
You really want me to show up next year, and they're going to be their foundation is going to be Border Patrol?
The Border Patrol Foundation. It's not the Border Patrol.
I'm probably going to be the only Hispanic, probably.
Probably not.
I won't be able to bring.
Probably not. You'd be surprised.
I probably won't be able to bring any more people with me.
And besides, Border Patrol is majority Hispanics, anyways.
Yeah, it is.
It is. A lot of Hispanics defend our border, and thank God for them. Did I play the video yet? Thanks, Joey. Yes, I thought we were going to cut it short tonight, but we might run long. Let's hear more from Warrior Shield, and we'll be right back.
Warrior Shield Foundation is here to unite, honor, and provide support for veterans, first responders, and Gold Star family members. The foundation will enable them to find the help they need through direct assistance or by connecting them with our shared vision network. Using data-driven models, we provide solutions that make a long-lasting difference. We, along with our partners, are dedicated to bringing together like-minded groups and individuals who have committed to making a difference in the lives of our hardworking, everyday heroes. We bridge the gap by connecting warriors or their families with the assistance they deserve and require, such as service dogs, wheelchairs, counseling, scholarships, and team building retreats, to name a few. You can help right now to make a difference for those who have helped and protected us all. Warrior Shield Foundation, selflessly doing for those who need it most.
It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone. Just look to your left and look to your right. You were born to fight.
You were born to fight. Look at this dope looking thing right here.
What's up, guys?
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joanne. We don't really try. I thought it sucked, but thank you. I do enjoy the conversation, though. I did want to get to the Vice. It's crazy because I mentioned how Charlie does his own show.
Right.
Then he's on the other show with Jack Posobiec and a few other people. I don't watch it, but they've had his seat left open, and the other show, other major creators have been filling in. I think today it was Glenn Beck, and one day it was Benny
for a show that he
Johnson.
has.
It was the Charlie Kirk show.
He had a podcast.
Yes, yeah, and it was.
See, I didn't even know.
Well, yeah, because you only see his short content,
right? And that's what I'm saying. You know, like these people is just like they're quick to judge, man. Like
just on short content. And if it's not his short content, it's manipulated. It's not the whole short content.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't know what those 15. What happened before those 15 seconds and after the 15 seconds that they're just showing you. You know, it's just
Let's hear Vance. And this is I've
heard some good stuff about it.
I couldn't agree with Vice President Vance more, and you could feel different. And I don't know, but let's hear from the Vice President.
There's no unity with people who scream at children over their parents' politics. There is no unity with someone who lies about what Charlie Kirk said in order to excuse his murder. There is no unity with someone who harasses an innocent family the day after the father of that family lost a dear friend. There is no unity with the people who celebrate Charlie Kirk's assassination. And there is no unity with the people who fund these articles, who pay the salaries of these terrorist sympathizers, who argue that Charlie Kirk, a loving husband and father, deserved a shot to the neck because he spoke words with which they disagree. Did you know that the George Soros Open Society Foundation and the Ford Foundation, the groups who funded that disgusting article justifying Charlie's death, do you know they benefit from generous tax treatment? They are literally subsidized by you and me, the American taxpayer. And how do they reward us? By setting fire to the house built by the American family over 250 years. I am desperate for our country to be united in condemnation of the actions and the ideas that killed my friend. I want it so badly that I will tell you a difficult truth. We can only have it with people who acknowledge that political violence is unacceptable, and when we work to dismantle the institutions that promote violence and terrorism in our own country.
Yeah, I would say pretty powerful. And
Yeah,
that,
for sure.
and that's just it. Like the left all of a sudden is like, whoa, we should tone down the temperature. You know, everybody needs to tone down the temperature on both sides. And it's like, wait a minute. You turned this temperature up. Like you've been turning the water up on the pot of frogs this whole freaking time, when all, like we saw in the Joker video.
Right.
Those were all real clips. None of those speeches from those politicians was AI. It was just put together in a cinematic format for you to see like that. And it was, they've been promoting violence and turning up the temperature on conservatives and Trump supporters for the last 12 years. When Maxwell was calling to confront us in the restaurants, confront us in the streets, and you know, burning down courthouses and stuff like that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, and
Everybody-
quite not to mention there hasn't been one riot in 7 days.
Everybody wants me to believe what they want me to believe, but then they have a problem whenever I tell them what I believe. Why is that? Why do people have a problem with if they don't believe the same thing that you believe?
Well, if it does, do they have a problem, or do they want
Like,
to
that's
open
where-
dialogue?
well, that's
Like, do
where
they
the,
want
like-
to talk?
No, but some of these people don't even want to talk about it. They'll be like, you just don't understand.
And that's
Well,
what
let's
was
talk
different
about it.
with
Like,
Charlie
let's-
Kirk. He was
right,
like, well, okay, well,
let's
tell
talk
me
about it. Tell me, right?
Right.
Like,
Tell me your thinking, and then I'm going to ask you questions.
and then they
if you
just get
think about
triggered
it.
by the truth, because it's like, well, how do you know? Just
Here's a Canadian
I
who's
don't
now
know, man.
worried
It's
about
just-
being in state.
Canadian in the US right now, and when Charlie's assassination happened, I genuinely thought, like, am I going to have to go home? Because this is the type of major event that you'd think could destabilize society. You know, people hitting the streets, and maybe if it got real bad, maybe even a civil war. I think we all thought about it. But I genuinely remember it hitting me that day, like, no, we don't have to worry. Because it's the people that you have to worry about that are celebrating right now. And the people that are pissed off are supporters of Charlie, which means they have deeply strong morals and they have a God. So when you piss off the left, they get violent in the streets, and we've seen it, and don't act like we haven't. And when you piss off the right, evidently, they hold prayer vigils. Seriously. Name one business that's had to board up their windows. Name one act of violence. There's been no looting, no maniacs in the streets. And it's not because we're not pissed off. It's because we're not the same. And this whole situation perfectly shows the true concern. And the media has convinced so many people that it's the radical right-wing extremists that you have to worry about. Okay, where are these people? What are they doing that's so dangerous? If I can be really honest, they're in some deep south small town, honestly minding their own business. Okay? These radicals on the left are out in society among us everywhere, and not even secretly celebrating the death of Charlie. Like being so open about it. These people have no honor, no integrity, no shame, no morals. And honestly, can you really be that surprised? These are the same people who have no problems casually castrating children and unaliving their babies. These are the issues they care the most about. But if you want to keep believing CNN when they tell you that it's the right-wing lunatics that are the problem, I guess that's your choice. And I guess not everyone was meant to wake up and see the truth.
Yeah.
Boom, drop the mic.
Right. And I mean, and not just that.
I mean,
I don't have the footage, but he drew a hell of a crowd everywhere. Like they did prayer vigils across in other countries, and in London, it was like
see,
a couple 100,000 people showed up in the streets of London. It was crazy.
Right. But see, there you go again, Mike. Like if people knew
Him when he was here,
Mike.
But see, and that's why they took him out.
But see, if people,
why they took him out, because people were
okay,
beginning
Mike.
to know. Yeah.
Okay, Mike. Yes.
And Joanne made the comment: if you were on a college campus in the last 10 years, chances are you knew exactly who Charlie Kirk was,
for sure.
and who Turning Point is.
Yeah.
Now, all the people, the Gen Xers and the whatever they are in between, the Zoomers and whatever, you know, that's different. You know, they might not know him because they just might see things they slide through, swipe through, whatever. But the Boomers and the Gen Xers, they didn't really know who Charlie Kirk was. You're right.
The people that were in the universities in the current time, you know, they knew him. Like you said, they knew him in the past 10 years. They knew who he was.
Right. But if they would, to me, he was definitely on his way to greatness. I feel like he could have been one of our future presidents. A lot of people are saying that. Like, and it's sad we say that now he's gone. But I would have said I knew who Charlie Kirk was through because I watched his stuff. So I would have said that a month ago too. But the crowds he drew is exactly why they wanted to silence him.
And see, the thing is though, Mike, like, if I was one of the other people that didn't agree with what he was talking about, why am I going to show up?
Well, I mean, it's college campus.
Okay,
and
but
not just that, it's like a pep rally.
Right. But why am I going to show up to just embarrass myself when I've seen videos?
Again, this is a college campus, and every college student is probably thinking they're going to be the one to change Charlie Kirk's mind, or they're going to get their moment of fame telling Charlie Kirk what a fascist he is or what a racist he is, you know, or you know, because they do this for a class too. They do debate classes. Okay, I don't know if
I can't be a fashionist and I can't be this and I can't be that because you don't told okay, but I'm just saying, I'm just saying, like, he can't be that.
But he wasn't. That's
okay. I know he wasn't, but say he was, he couldn't be that. Why? Because somebody's gonna have a problem. It's like he can or he can't. Like, they're gonna have a problem either or. You know? So it's like,
but he was willing to debate those people who disagreed with him.
Right. So. That was his whole thing, is he will sit there and be like, you're not gonna change my mind because I'm already set with my mind of what I believe, and this is what it is. Like, it's just either you follow me or you don't.
Yeah. We're almost running out of time, and I've got one more video on a total different subject. But if you're watching at home, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, follow. If you're watching on Rumble, repost it for us. It's hard getting that reach out there. It's hard getting the engagement live. Our time slot isn't the best, but it's what works for us. But anyways, Trump has broken barriers. He's changed the norm. He's broken protocol. You say it, whatever you want. But I feel like he has brought the meaning. You know, they always said the president of the United States, leader of the free world. And we've seen him travel the world. We've seen him go to Saudi Arabia. We've seen him go to North Korea. We've seen him go to China. We've seen him go all over the freaking world. And he gets the royal treatment. They kiss his ring. This is the second state visit he has had with the monarch of the UK. And it's significant because him and the Queen, they had a friendship that was talked about. And now that she's passed, it's her son, Charles, who's the king. And he was always kind of like a pompous ass. But it's Trump always talked about him being his friend, even though he's super liberal. The king is, don't mistaken what you see in the media. King Charles is probably one of the biggest progressives in Europe, and for them, I don't give two shits, but I'm surprised he's held the monarch together and hasn't dissolved it. That's how much of a progressive I think he is. But Trump went again, so he got a state visit with the Queen, which was crazy, and she treated him like an equal, which is crazy for a monarch to do that, because there's special protocol. Who shakes the hand? Who reaches out to shake the hand? Who don't touch them unless they're touching you? You know, just weird shit like that. And they were saying the same about today with Prince William and King Charles and stuff like that. But again, he had this is his second state visit with the monarch of the UK, which is unprecedented. And the treatment he got there It was the inspection of the guard, is what they call it, and it's usually for other royals and other like royalty. And this is the king and Trump. Let's just throw it up there. I'm just babbling.
I think this is a real statement by the king and by the senior members of the royal family. I mean, it's very rare they all get together like this for a visit by a foreign leader. They're doing it to make a point. I think they recognize the world feels a little bit precarious right now. You have two.
Which you hear Piers Morgan say, they're all there. All of the royals are there.
He's like, it's very hard to get them all together.
Right.
That's what he just said.
Raging wars in Ukraine and in Gaza, and you have a lot of people, particularly since the appalling murder of Charlie Kirk, I think are feeling very tense about the way that issues like free speech are going in the world. And I think that the royal family want to make a statement. They are aligning themselves very publicly today with the President of the United States, who they know actually believes in his heart fundamentally in the principles of free speech, as indeed do they. So I think that this is it's a statement by the royal family. We're going to roll out the ultimate red carpet. And again, just to stress, I've not seen this done for any other world leader. This is unprecedented. And bearing in mind that Donald Trump is getting a second state visit, but the first one was for a different monarch. So nobody has ever, US president or anybody else, has ever had a state visit with two different monarchs. So that, again, I think is an important thing to say. Last time it was with Queen Elizabeth. This time it's with her eldest son, King Charles. That is real history. And I keep coming back to how his mother would feel, Donald Trump's mother, Mary, how she would have felt about this, watching her son, just on a human level, you know, having these extraordinary moments with the Queen and then with the King. I mean, really remarkable, I think.
I think it is remarkable. I think it's honorable. I also think, I'm still on the kick that we are looking at Emperor Trump, whether it's his title or not. Look at him go around the world, and they all know who is in charge. And this is what you saw. He was treated like the emperor, like the royal up from which there is no royal up from King Charles, but like the royal up from him is in town. And it's time for me to pledge my allegiance. You saw it in Saudi Arabia. You saw it in UK now. You've seen it in other countries. Pretty much, I think France. You would probably see it in Russia too if things weren't the way they were in Europe right now. But I think Trump has that pull now because, like Piers Morgan said, everybody's feelings are precarious about what could happen. Like the pot is almost boiling, and the frogs haven't realized. The frogs are starting to realize. Are they going to jump or what? You know, and it's. I think it is a boiling point. Are we in a civil war? I think you can say we've been in one. I don't think it's going to come down to people dying in the streets. But did we lose one of our streams? No, we're good. Anyways, that's all I've got. We're pushing an hour. Leo, you got anything?
No, that's it, man.
No. Make sure you give us a like and a follow.
For sure.
Like Joanne said, peace through strength, not bribery. Right. Yep. Give us a like and a follow. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, Twitch, not Kick because it's being a pain. Facebook, X for sure at To The Point, Mike at tothepoint.com or something like that. You can find it. And on Rumble, follow all of our channels, which you can find at To The Point Podcast. One word is the account, and then you can see all the other videos from the Board Report, the Conspiracy Theory, IRC Media, whatever is on there.
This one right here.
Yep, IRC Media, and you can check out IndianRiverConnections.com to find all that stuff out. Thanks again, Joanne, and for you lurkers out there, next time drop a comment and share the show. Right? I know a lot of people are afraid to put their opinions out there on the internet.
It's okay. Don't worry. We won't do anything.
Right. All right. We're gonna get out. So thanks again.
Bye. See you guys next week. Thank you.
Podcast warriors. ain't afraid to shout. Make America great, tell them what it's about. Facts over feelings, cutting through the noise. Fighting woke mobs and the kids with toys. They spew their lies, they spreading hate. Let's BS ain't gonna seal our fate. No nonsense here, just straight to the point. Truce to ammo in this battleground joint. Make America great again, stand and fight. Facts over feelings, day and night.
Hey, it's To the Point with Mike, Leo, and Vince.